Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Nightstalker. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using the Battle Scar with kinetic tremors. For the sidearm, I will be using the arc from the dungeon. Then for the heavy, I'll be using Dragon's Breath. I decided to go for the Hunter run. And this run's gonna be a little long. It will be passive. There are reasons behind it. Well, one, I'm power level 2006. Well, I barely made it. So I'm negative 30 GM for this solo. And it's gonna be very painful. Be prepared of tanky champions a bit. I will do a mini time skip at the boss because the boss was extremely tanky. Even though I was using Dragon's Breath, it was still tanky to health. So I am going to be using Dragon's Breath, and then the pulse rifle I'm using has the kinetic tremors. And the reason why I'm using it over verbal weapon is one, I'm under power level. I'm now 2015 power level. Of course, it will be completely different. Alright, if you are power level 2000, you're literally skulls. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, it means you're 40 under power level on a GM solo. And the reason why my Hunter or my Titan, my Warlock is pretty low is because the XP for this season is completely ridiculous to get the job done. And then with the RNG of the Pinnacles and all that goody stuff. And yes, I am using the Kindness Arc sidearm, and we'll be doing ballerina twirls on the Vandals. It's just a really struggle to get things done just to make a solo video. And I'll talk more about that later, especially at the boss fight, since the boss fights are extremely tanky and I will do time skips here and there. But yes, I have to use Kinetic Tremors. Now, people did say why not use Volpal, but it takes 4 to 5 shots. 4 to 5 shots. And then what makes it worse is if you are using a Volpal pulse rifle far away from a distance from a barrier champion, be prepared that it's going to take you 6 to 7 hits just to break the shield. If you are on PS5 or Xbox, because the recoil is a pain for this game or for this Bungie. Because the champion wasn't cooperating, this is the plan B where we have to lure this barrier and then combo it with Dragon's Breath. Now, people will ask, is Wish Ender good for this GM? It's good if you are 2015 power level or 2010 for a decent run. Now, if you are power level 2000 or 2001, you might as well just switch to Dragon's Breath. Yeah, pretty much the problem with using Wish Ender is the boss is extremely tanky and it's just a lot of pain and patience to deal with the boss, especially when you are negative 40 or negative 35. Me and negative 30 is just a pain to get this run done. So we are using Devour, and I am using Deadfall Super for the Hunter. Now, I was thinking of using the other super, but I feel like the Act Clear is a bit more important than doing DPS at the boss. I was debating, alright. I did test it out with other loadouts, but it just wasn't working out. It's because I'm under power level. I was trying to use different exotics to make this work, but it just wasn't working out and it was just too tanky. I did try different pulse rifles, even exotics. It just wasn't giving enough DPS dealing with the barrier champions. And then I just had to switch to the Battle Scar pulse rifle. You can also use the Wish pulse rifle, the raid one. Unfortunately, you guys know me, I always get the worst luck of not getting the god rolls for the raids or dungeons. So because of that, I have to use a weapon that mainly everyone has, which is good because the weapon I'm using, the pulse rifle, anyone can get it, right? It's not a strict loadout of what I'm using. Now I did try a legendary solar sidearm, but the problem is that I wasn't getting enough DPS of breaking the solar shield with a solar legendary sidearm. It was taking 5 hits on the sidearm. I'm not joking or over exaggerated, I am serious. So because I'm underpowered, I had to switch my loadout like probably 5 times this week, or for a couple days. For 2 days, I was switching different loadouts. And I was keep going to power level 2001, 2000. It just wasn't working out. And then finally, probably Dragon's Breath would be the best if you are under power level. Now, if you are 2015, then definitely you can be a little tiny bit of creative. But the problem this season is you have to rely on abilities and not so much with weapons from what I noticed. And I don't really like that because Destiny is a looter shooter game. Looter shooter game, not ability game spam. So I'm not really liking the direction the game is going for. It is pretty ridiculous. And I think this season's worse than Nightfall for end content. End content, everyone. End content. I'm not talking about the campaign. The campaign is good. But with the end content that we're seeing with the episodes, really stretching it, and it's not looking so good from what I'm seeing. So we are going to take down the champion. There will be wizards. We are going to take advantage of Dragon's Breath because why not? I mean, I could use other weapons, but as I said before, it is not working out, especially when you're on the level. It's not going to work. Another reason why I'm using the pulse rifle battle scar with kinetic tremors is because the barrier champions are extremely tanky, and I need something to consistently keep DPSing the champion whilst breaking the shield. I cannot use Vulpal Weapon. I cannot use those types of weapons to break the shield. I mean, if you think that it's going to take 3 shots on a pulse rifle when you are really underleveled, then you are sadly mistaken because that's not what's going to happen. So I highly recommend any pulse rifle with kinetic tremors if you are underleveled. I mean, if you want to go for Vulpal Weapon with the barrier champions, if you're high level, then by all means go for it. But for someone like me who doesn't have that much time to grind for the XP and Pinnacles of RNG, stuff like this can be really frustrating to even do a simple solo run just to get the job done. But you can see the Arknights are really harsh. Well, because I am under power level, and then this GM is supposed to be easygoing, but because of the XP, it's just ridiculous. Be aware that these knights can one-shot you. Yes, they can one-shot you. Unless you're a bit higher level, then they won't. But for me, they will one-shot me, so be aware, and that's why I was spamming finisher. And then I'm gonna grab some heavy as soon as I use my finisher, and then the Shriekers will spawn. Yes, and then there'll be more champions. So yeah, this run's gonna take a long time. Even though it's not supposed to be that long. But unfortunately, that's pretty much how it is when you don't have time to grind for XP and you just don't have time to do all the pinnacles. Because some of the pinnacles take too long to get. And then the problem is that I keep getting the same armor or the same weapon of the power level that I don't need. But for some reason, I keep getting it over and over. And then there goes the waste of 3 hours of my life. Well, 4 hours of my life of XP. So we will take down these Shriekers, and then we're going to take down the barrier champions very soon. Let me just get rid of these acolytes because they like to throw fire at you. So now we're going to try to use Dragon's Breath. The reason why I hesitated of using Dragon's Breath is because I was having moments where the barrier champion was falling off the edge when I used Dragon's Breath. That's why I didn't really use it so much. I was hesitating. But yeah, see, perfect example. This is why Kinetic Tremors is just really good at dealing barrier champions over Volpo when you're under power level. So I am comboing it with the special sidearm for the kindness sidearm. And with Dragon's Breath, if you want to, I just hesitated because I was having a bad experience of these barrier champions falling off the platform, the box. But yeah, look at that. Did you see how much damage it did without Kinetic Tremors? So yeah, 7 to 8 shots. 7 to 8 shots without Kinetic Tremors. And then if you're on console, get ready. Be prepared of recoil issues or aim assist of trying to deal with the barrier champions. Because you're going to have a hard time of breaking the shield. Now we're going to be using Dragon's Breath, so hopefully he won't fall down like he did on my last run. And then we can combo it with the Kinetic Tremors. And then just take him down as quickly as possible. And hopefully he won't fall down. There is 2 champions and then these Arc Knight that I despise. For some reason this Arc Knight is more frustrating than a champion. I'm not sure why. He just behaves very aggressively. He likes doing those ballerina twirls, the same thing like a barrier champion. I feel like Bungie, you know, not thinking about it, I think they were about to add 3 barrier champions, and then they changed their mind and say, why not just put a arc, you know, resilience gold bar with 2 champions. So I think they were supposed to put 3 barrier champions, but then they changed their mind and decided to just put 2 and then 1 gold bar Arc Knight. But yeah, isn't this fantastic? Isn't this fun for you guys, but not for me? Now, I will warn you that next week, I will upload non-commentary runs because there will be moments where I don't have time to do commentary. So just be aware that next week, I probably will have to do commentary and then non-commentary runs. Making videos of commentary takes a lot of time. It takes triple amount of my time. You know, I had to render, then YouTube. It just takes a long time. Very time consuming. And then I had to rush my commentary and make sure everything's perfect-ish. So just a warning, once again, I won't be able to always do commentary runs. There will be one where it's non-commentary, just a video, and then another one where it's commentary run. So I did decide to turn invisible, or if I was in a different subclass, I would just honestly just use my super and then just go over here. Why? Because console aim assist. I don't want to deal with console aim assist dealing with two baby barrier servitors. Trust me, you're gonna have a hard time of doing precision shots when these ads are pushing, trying to melee you, then they back away, attack, back away, attack, back away, attack, back away. And then when you're trying to do precision shots, especially with a linear fusion or sniper or anything, or even a pulse rifle, your guardian is gonna move a different side, focusing on the ads than the champion. That's why I decided to just go all the way in the back. It's just way easier for me. I know people will disagree with me with that, but in my experience for GM solos and before GMs and Prestige Nightfalls and Master Nightfalls, it just seems the safest for me, especially for PS5, PlayStation, and Xbox. And yes, I have done solos on Xbox version. I'm not sure if I ever told anyone that. You know, things change. I did move to PlayStation. I mean, this was many years ago. I even lost counted, to be honest. But I used to be a solo Nightfall Xbox player. I do understand the struggle for Xbox. I do understand the analogs on the top left and the top bottom right. Now we're going to deal with this tanky boss. I'm going to pull back because we're going to deal with two barrier champions. Now for some reason, I'm not sure why, but these barrier champions are just really tricky to deal with when you are under leveled. Their void attack does so much damage to the point where maybe I should have put void resilience, because their void is just hurting my poor guardian a lot. I mean, look at that. Look how much damage it does. And then one thing I noticed is if one of the barrier champions low on health, then one is going to block you. And remember console aim assist? Remember aim assist, auto aiming? Yeah, he's gonna block so you won't be able to do precision shots to break the barrier shield. See, the reason why in this footage it looks easier is because of kinetic tremors. Because I'm using that, it just makes a way easier of dealing with these barrier champions. And then with Dragon's Breath too. That's why I highly recommend just use Dragon's Breath. I know Wish Ender is a good weapon, but it's just better using Wish Ender when you are 2010 to 2015 power level. Alright, it's just not worth it for this run, for this GM. Now I will say Wish Ender is really good for Ward or Nothing when you are under leveled. I have tested on playing a solo GM minus 40 power level. Alright, minus 40 on Warlock, but I had to redo the run because I wanted to make it much cleaner, because the run was a bit too long because the champions were so tanky, the mini boss was so tanky to the point where I had to grind XP in Pinnacle, pray for RNG just to be to power level 2001 so I can get these sword icons. And even though I was still negative 39 power level, so it didn't really matter too much, but a little bit did make it work. And if you don't believe me, then just watch my Ward or Nothing. My Ward or Nothing video, I think I was 2001 power level or 2002. I don't remember at the moment, but I do know for a fact that I was really low when I was doing the solo GM. So now we're going to deal with Unstoppable Champion. There is a barrier on the top left, but we're going to deal with him later. So now we're going to go do DPS. Now you're probably wondering why I don't turn invisible and go all the way in the back. Well, because of Bungie. So there's a statue that it's in the way in the corner from the far right side. I'm not even joking, once again, over exaggerating. I am serious. There is a statue, a final shape statue all the way from the back in this Disgraced Nightfall. I don't remember of even playing story mode and going to Disgrace, so I'm assuming for episode 2 that we might have to play Disgrace, or either that or I missed the quest, or I forgot that I did this run, because I don't remember, because the end content for the quest was kind of boring. So now we're going to deal with 2 barrier champions. And because of kinetic tremors, we're going to take down these barrier champions quickly as possible. I will do a mini time skip of doing DPS the boss, because I know the boss is really tanky. That's the reason why this video is long. It's not really so much of clearing out ads. A little bit. I mean, if a cleaner run, I could have made it to the boss around 15 minutes, but honestly, I really couldn't care less about even trying to speed run or making a clean, efficient run for this season. I just don't think it's worth my time. Mainly for this objective for this video is getting platinum and getting the solo GM run done. So now we're going to deal with another barrier champion, which I forgot to mention, all the way from the top left side. Did I mention that the acolytes like to play PvP mode? Yes, they do, don't they? So we're going to turn back. I'm just double checking because there are glitches where these curse thralls can teleport in front of you. Sometimes it happens, especially when you try to do DPS at the barrier champion. But yeah, I'm trying to back away, but then this statue is in the way. Of all the places of where Bungie had to put a statue, why in this spot? Of all of them I've seen, why this spot? I'm so baffled right now. I'm not even sure what to say about that. I will say I'm using Dragon's Breath, and hopefully this champion won't shoot arc. It is best to take him down as soon as possible, because his arc blast and with the arc splash damage, it can do massive damage to your guardian. And I'm serious about it, unless you're on, Void Shield with a Titan or Warlock Healing Rift and all the goody stuff. You pretty much really have to be very cautious when dealing with this champion. Just make sure you take him down as soon as you can, as fast as you can. Because honestly, you don't want to be on red health, pull back, and then he regains his health and yet start all over again to DPS. See, if I was using Vulpal Weapon instead of this pulse rifle, I don't think I'll be able to even do enough DPS damage. It will take way too long. And it just won't work out a lot. So we're going to be at the boss fight. We're going to be dealing with the final boss, and she is extremely tanky. Now, if you are negative 40 power level or negative 35, you're definitely going to have a hard time of doing DPS at this boss because she is very tanky. Now, I'm going to try my best to even try to make her move around and do as much DPS as I can. So this boss can shoot arc very aggressively, and during this mini phase, you have to make sure you break the shield. When you do break the shield, she likes to hide. And this is the chance where you have to follow her and then just keep doing DPS over and over. Because the problem is that she will shoot her arc. So other methods she likes to do is when she throws this toxic smoke, that's your cue of you need to pull back because she'll be getting ready to shoot its arc blast at you or Kai blast at you. Mini Kai blast because Nightfall, that boss, definitely shoots Kai blast compared to this boss. So you can turn invisible, you can aim, use Dragon's Breath, and mix it with the combo of the pulse rifle. So just be aware that the boss likes to hide. And be aware that you need to consistently keep doing DPS over and over. Because while doing this method, she's not going to shoot arc at you during this mini phase. But yeah, she does love to move around. She loves to move around. So I'm not doing any time skip over here. We don't want to see this boss dance. Left and right and hide. After she teleports and realizes her method is just not working out and she's not happy, we're going to have this mini phase of dealing with a lot of Arknights. Now these Arknights can do a lot of damage. I did mess up my super. I was trying to tether a bit higher up to deal with the knights from the top left side. Well, right side. Sadly, I have to rely on Dragon's Breath, but then I missed, unfortunately. I keep missing my shots a lot for this mini phase. Because of this, now I have to take my sweet time dealing with the acolytes, but be aware they can shoot void and they can throw fire at you. But during this phase, just make sure you take down the acolyte. Make sure you use Dragon's Breath on the Arknights, just one, and then switch with the pulse rifle. But yeah, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a long GM. Even though I broke the shield of the Arknight, the Arknight's health just feels a bit tanky. So I had to use the sidearm and rely on finishers so I can get the DPS and the ad clear done. They also love to regain their health and then hide. But pretty much just take your time dealing with the Arknights. And then once you clear down all the knights during this mini phase, then the boss is gonna spawn. Then that's when you have to rely on Dragon's Breath and with the pulse rifle to do DPS. So now we're gonna deal with the boss. Yay, isn't this gonna be fun? Depending how much DPS you do at the boss, there will be mini phases of thralls chasing you and cursed thralls. Just be aware of your surroundings when you are doing DPS at the boss. So right now, I am going to be using Dragon's Breath and then wait for the ads to spawn. So I'm trying my best to do as much DPS as I can. I will do a mini time skip of clearing the ads. So basically I was clearing the ads and then I sometimes got heavy bricks. I don't want to waste time of clearing the ads for this run, so I will time skip it and then just focus on DPSing the boss very soon. So right now, Dragon's Breath. I'm gonna turn invisible. I'm gonna wait. A bunch of thralls all over. Trying to do as much DPS as I can. Super annoying. If only I was on Warlock and Flame Alchemist Warlock to get this job done and way more faster. But yeah, isn't this fun? So now I'm going to be clearing all these ads. Hopefully I can get some heavy bricks. So I'm going to do a mini time skip here. So basically I'm just clearing the ads. Be aware of the cursed thralls. Take your sweet time. So after spending some time dealing with the cursed thrall, I got some heavy. We're going to use Dragon's Breath. We're going to pull back a bit because there's going to be an unstoppable champion that will spawn at the next phase. So I'm hoping Dragon's Breath will do enough DPS and then we can deal with the unstoppable champion. My bad. So there's a champion and a bunch of acolytes. I forgot to mention that there will be a lot of acolytes that should void. So now I thought maybe I'll just go to this sweet spot. I will prefer this spot on Warlock, if I have to be really honest. But this spot's good for Hunter. You just have to be aware of the acolytes throwing arc at you. Well, fire. Sorry about that. Make sure you use your Dragon's Breath. I think I forgot to even use the weapon, so I just pull back. But yeah, this is really fun, right? We gotta clear down all these acolytes of playing PvP mode. But I mean, look at the damage they're doing on the Void. So I do recommend, I mean, if you want to, if you can put Void Resilience, if the acolytes and the champions are giving you trouble. When we do take down the champion, then there'll be another champion that will spawn and then a mini ogre. Now be aware that the Void can melt you in a second. Its Void power is extremely dangerous, especially when you are really low of a GM. When you are not 2015 or 2010 power level, this Void attack is extremely dangerous. You'll see what I mean. I think for this run, I almost got sent back to orbit, but you can see in a second, you could just be sent back to orbit. So because of that, I decided not to hang around that spot. I decided to just use Dragon's Breath and then pull back. Because the Void attack was just so powerful and so OP and so dangerous to the point where now I have to play a bit passive and be super careful dealing with these ogres. But now, do you fully understand what I'm talking about of doing a GM -30 to -40 power level? And you see the struggle and how ridiculous of trying to get XP and Pinnacles for this season. Or for this year, pretty much. Because I already know the episodes are not going to be that exciting. So we're going to deal with the boss, but remember, I will do time skips of clearing the ads, because I don't want to waste everyone's time of me farming heavy bricks and all those goody stuff. So we will be spamming Dragon's Breath left and right so we can go to the next phase. Now hopefully we can do enough damage dealing with the boss. During this phase, she likes to shoot arc at you, especially when the health is around half. So be aware that the arc blast is extremely dangerous and be super careful. So now I'm going to be clearing a bunch of ads, so I'm going to do a mini time skip here. After clearing ads and getting some heavy, now we're going to be using Dragon's Breath. So I've been having a lot of bad luck of getting Dragon's Breath. And the reason why I can think of is because I'm using a special weapon and you're getting more special than heavies. But when you're using double primaries, you get more heavy. And the reason why I'm using a kindness is because, well, you see, it's a really complicated answer. See, I tried using a sidearm and it wasn't breaking the shield. It was taking a couple shots. Hopefully the wizard will cooperate. Now, I will go all the way at the back and keep spamming pulse rifle with kinetic tremors, but I don't think the problem is it's just too risky with the power level I am. And it would be way more safer if I was on Warlock or Titan with a Void Shield or with Healing Rift with a Stasis Turret build to make this work. But unfortunately, we would have to go for this method where we spam invisibility and then use Dragon's Breath. I mean, like I said, I would love to hang around in this spot, but with this situation and how tanky this boss is, and the power level of what I am, it's not gonna work 100% or be 100% safe in this situation. But yeah, you can see it's extremely dangerous. I mean, if only I had a healing rift or a void over shield to make this method work. Or if only I was 2010, 15 power level to make, to be more powerful and to not have the boss melt me really bad for this run. If only those methods would work, I wouldn't have a problem standing there. So this is going to be the last mini phase where there's going to be a bunch of cursed thralls. Now I'm in a tough spot where I don't have any heavy. I would love to use Dragon's Breath to take down these knights, but I don't have any ammo. So now I have to rely on the sidearm. But you can see probably 2 to 3 hits. I would have to go back to orbit. So now I'm just waiting for my invisibility. I noticed that the Arc Knights were hurting my Guardian really bad. And I have double arc resilience. Alright? Double. And the Arc Knights are doing so much damage. Absolutely ridiculous. This is why it's a struggle of doing GMs probably this week and last week. Especially when I am not level up enough for XP and for Pinnacles. And yes, I said this 5 times, 6 times. I'm telling you this because it's extremely frustrating. And then you know what's the worst part? The worst part is that I don't think I'll have time to do my Warlock or my Titan this week. Why? Because now I need to focus again of XP and Pinnacles because my characters are not power level 2000 gear or weapons. And it's frustrating for me because it's wasting my time. I don't want to spend 6 hours or more than 6 hours of leveling up my Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. It's extremely stressful. YouTube is not my full-time job. This is a hobby. And for a hobby, I cannot play 12 hours a day to grind Pinnacles and XP. This is extremely frustrating for me, especially for console players where we don't have the ability to AFK on PC and then just have, leave your PC overnight to get the sweet XP and to level up your characters. I don't have that ability. So right now I have no Dragon's Breath, so I'm in a tough situation where I need to rely on my sidearm. I did saw heavy from the left side, by the way. I didn't even notice because I was just too focused on the Arcanites. But yeah, these curse thralls can actually hop on the platform. I'm not going to be dealing with the Curse Knights or the Arcanites and then the Curse Thralls. But you can see the situation is just not looking good. But yeah, isn't this fun? Now I am using the sidearm. You can see the poor damage it's doing. I mean, like I said, if I was a bit stronger, higher level, the sidearm would do great damage. But as you can see, proof that even though I'm breaking the shield, the knight is still so tanky. But yes, you can see why that I'm not going to be able to have time to get my Warlock and Titan done. Because I need to focus on leveling up my characters this week. And it's so sad. It's unfortunate. I'm so disappointed in this game. And I really despise it. I really wish they can rework the Pinnacle XP system. Because honestly, I think this year is worse. I mean, if everyone thought the Nightfall was bad, oh, this is really bad. Mini rant over. So now I'm going to do a time skip of doing DPS at the boss so we can have the last ad phase dealing with the Arcanites and Thralls. After spending time doing DPS and spamming Pulse Rifle, there will be a bunch of Cursed Thralls and Arcanites. This one's going to be a little bit tricky for me because unfortunately I wasn't getting the best luck of getting Dragon's Breath, a lot of heavy bricks. Because of that, now I have to do DPS relying on the sidearm, special sidearm, and the pulse rifle. I also have to spam invisibility a bit because the Arcanites Arc Blast was doing so much damage, even though with double arc resilience. If you do have a lot of Dragon's Breath, then this will be the perfect time to spam it and to use it on the Arcanites. I didn't have the luck for that method, and if I did, then this run would have been so much faster, and this ad clear mini last phase would have just taken me around 30 seconds. But unfortunately, that did not happen. I also forgot to mention is that the Arcanites, they can walk up to the stairs and they can sneak up. They can also hop off the platform as well. This is why it is mandatory if you're using machine gun or a rocket or a linear. You must take down the Arcanites immediately and always have extra heavy to deal with these Arcanites, because if not, especially if you are under power level or negative 40 power level, these Arcanites are gonna take you to orbit, and they will shoot around 2 hits. So make sure you save enough heavy. And yes, maybe I should have used a legendary sidearm, but the problem is with the under power level, I wasn't able to break the shield with 2 shots. It was taking me 6 shots. I know, it's absurd. 6 shots on a solar sidearm to break the shield versus the sidearm is 2 shots. That's why I didn't use a legendary sidearm. I'm just not powerful enough or powerful enough for this week. But once you clear the ads, just focus on DPSing the boss just to get the platinum rank and the Nightfall weapon. Anyway, we are using kinetic tremors with the pulse rifle. Do as much DPS as we can. Anyway, we finally beat the boss. I apologize that this run is not the best, but hey, you know, this season is rely on abilities and weapons. Looter abilities. Looter abilities. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.